Hi everyone, Rachel Lowenstein here from the Life Plus team in North America. We're here at CES 2018 walking through the Tech West floor, seeing all the emerging partners and platforms that we're seeing across the technology space. We'll be walking through the floor today. There's over 4,000 exhibitors across all of CES, so there's a lot to see here. Arguably one of the biggest technology trends that we're seeing is voice-enabled devices and the proliferation of using voice as search. Google has a big presence here this year, really trying to cross paths into what Amazon had established last year. Most of the devices that we'll see here on the floor actually have integrations using Alexa or using Google Assistant as their operating system for voice. There's a lot to see here, so let's get started. So first we have Peloton, and Peloton is a company that's valued at over $1.2 billion. They've really grown very fast in the fitness space, obviously riding off of the tails of SoulCycle and the really strong fitness and spinning craze that's going on in that space. And what Peloton does is it brings the community aspect that SoulCycle has really established into someone's home. So you're taking the physical in-store experience and driving it digitally into someone's home, allowing it to be personalized and allowing it to be on their own time and in their own experience. And something that we can think about with Peloton and these other hardware and fitness companies is start thinking about brand challenges and brand experiences that are exclusive to brands in someone's home, ultimately maybe working with influencers or different celebrity talent to do classes with Peloton. So as you can see here with Peloton, they have the bikes, which is really their bread and butter, what they've been known for, and now they're rolling out treadmills, so taking still that ownership of your wellness and what you want to bring into your own home, but rolling it across different hardware products. And I predict that we'll continue to see Peloton really thriving in the space, knowing that people are buying these bikes that are just over $1,000, quite an expensive piece of hardware, but ultimately it's a long-term benefit that ends up playing out from a cost standpoint. So we're here at Fossil now, and with the death of Jawbone last year, a company that was once valued at over $4 billion, it's fair to ask, what's the future of wearables, knowing that a huge company like that died last year? And I think if you look at Fossil and what they're doing with companies like Marc Jacobs, Tory Burch, Diesel over here, Michael Kors over there, you can really see that the future of wearables really lies in the fashion space and working with brands that are really established with their designs, really established with their customer base, and thinking more about the aesthetics of the wearables and less about that kind of clunky hardware that might just count your steps. And a lot of what we're seeing with some of these wearables and a lot of these watches is that they're now voice enabled. So Michael Kors, for example, did a really big push over the holidays with their partnership with Google Assistant on the smartwatch. So you could now ask your watch anything that you might ask your Google Assistant, and your Michael Kors watch would be able to answer. And really that's the future of wearables, is working with these established fashion brands and then using that voice enablement that we know is a huge trend here at CES. So here with Diesel, it's really interesting because they've really taken their brand persona, which is kind of our sarcastic, a little bit edgy brand, and really infused that into the AI on their watch. So their watch's assistant is called Tony, and Tony, instead of telling you maybe to stand up every 30 minutes like an Apple Watch does, Tony tells you to get off your ass, which is a really fun, infused way for Diesel to show how their brand is communicating to their customers and really tying that obsession and that culture that they've really driven home with their customers into something like a wearable. So we're here at Keeker now, and Keeker, as you can see, is a line of robots that actually project in 4K resolution all of your content just by telling your robot, project Black Mirror or project Gilmore Girls, whatever you're watching, you can tell Keeker to project that show onto your wall. Any blank wall will do, and Keeker will project up to about an 80-inch television size, all in 4K resolution. They work with Netflix and Spotify and all the different media distribution companies that you probably already have a subscription to, and all you need is a voice-enabled device, i.e. an Amazon Alexa or a Google Assistant. Again, voice is really a huge trend here. Telling your robot to do something that you're already doing, watching television, just streamlines that process for consumers. All right, now we're here at Virtual Mate, and Virtual Mate, similar to Peloton, is taking that gym experience and bringing it into people's home, all powered by hardware and all powered by technology. You can see here that she's dancing and she's moving, and everything that she's doing is being reflected onto a screen in front of her, and the actual product is this really large, kind of clunky screen. Maybe not the best user experience, but you can start thinking about using smartphones, especially with the iPhone 10, having that facial recognition software, and start thinking about how we can build those experiences on a smartphone, because ultimately the movements that she's doing here, the screen is telling her to adjust her form form, her motion, ultimately to achieve her fitness goals. So we're seeing this trend of community-based fitness being brought into people's homes using hardware like this, and there's a lot of things we can do from a smartphone and a mobility perspective there. And now we're here at Project Nursery, and Project Nursery is really interesting as it relates to voice, because what they've done is they've taken Alexa as an operating system for voice and infused it into all of their hardware products. So instead of maybe walking into your nursery when your baby is crying, they actually have a smart soother, and you can tell Alexa to soothe the baby, and the soother will turn on, and instead of interrupting your baby while it's maybe trying to sleep, the soother will just turn on and the lights will start a dark blue light, a purple light, whatever it is, to soothe the baby so you don't have to interrupt the baby's sleep cycle. They have a whole suite of products that use Amazon Alexa as a voice operating system, and this is just one of many examples that we're seeing of voice tying into the world of connected home. And really, any device that's not using Alexa or Google in the future potentially won't live in this ecosystem anymore because they have such a strong grasp on the marketplace. Amazon has 70% share of market as it relates to voice products. And if you think about it from a commerce standpoint, so many people in the United States have an Amazon Prime account, so you could just tell one of your Project Nursery products to maybe order diapers, and then maybe a diaper brand is starting to build incidental loyalty with that consumer over time because Alexa is that person that's recommending products for them. So start thinking about it from a brand standpoint, how you can infuse your products into voice-enabled devices. Now we're here at potentially my favorite booth here at CES. This is O2 Nails, and O2 Nails is a 3D printing company that allows consumers to print their own nail art. And something as simple as nail art, which is a $10 billion industry, has a lot of opportunities as it relates to a consumer-facing experience, especially for a beauty brand. Pinterest searches for nail art grew just over 200% last year. There's a lot of consumer interest in it, especially in the era of Instagrammable everything. Nail art is really something that we're seeing as a big trend in the beauty category. Let's go this way. Okay, so we're here at Muto, and Muto is a company that started as a traditional fragrance company, and in this era of autonomous speaking and voice and all these voice trends that we're seeing, they've built a piece of hardware that integrates into Amazon Alexa and gives consumers the ability to disperse fragrance across their home just by speaking to it. So if I'm feeling stressed out at the end of the day, I just have to come home and tell my Muto, Alexa, I'm feeling stressed, put on a soothing fragrance, and she'll give me a list of options of fragrances that I could disperse. They have little pods, and the pods all have different scents, so bergamot or lavender or whatever it is, and the scents will disperse across your home, all just with the power of your voice. Just one example again of what we're seeing from a voice enablement standpoint. So Haptic is a really interesting company that we're seeing here on the floor at CES, especially as it relates to out-of-home. They build these experiences using just digital screens and a sensor that allows consumers to maybe engage with a digital billboard, engage with a screen that they're seeing outside of their homes as they're walking around about their daily lives. And all you need for this is really a sensor, and it does this haptic feedback to give consumers a sensorial sensation that they might not have gotten previously with just a regular digital billboard. So think about an entertainment brand, maybe a brand that has a sci-fi movie coming out. We can build an experience that allows consumers to interact with the billboard using vibrations and using motion sensors just to give them that additional moment with the billboard. And if you think about this from a digital standpoint, there's so many more analytics and different measurement capabilities that we can now do using digital billboards like this that are interactive. So Origin is a company we're seeing here that does DNA testing. What's interesting about them is they actually are the only DNA testing company that has their own lab. Obviously, consumer privacy is a big question we're seeing here at CES, and I would actually argue that while 2017 was the year of brand safety for our industry, 2018 is really going to be all about consumer privacy. And what Origin does, they allow consumers to do DNA testing in their home, and then it gives them insights into different facets beyond just your ancestry. You can look at your ability in sports, for example, as we see here. You can look at your beauty routine, if your skin's too dry, how your skin elasticity is. Obviously, all this new data has big implications for marketers. Different brands will have different thresholds for how much they want to trade that hyper-personalized experience for consumers in exchange for their data, and it's a question that will definitely be looming as we move ahead into 2018. So we're here at Whirlpool now, and Whirlpool made an acquisition into the digital publisher Yumly last year, which is really interesting because we're starting to see more and more of emergence between technology and media, and the two are continuing to blur their lines. And this is just one example of what we're seeing here on the floor that represents that. And what's interesting about the Yummly acquisition from Whirlpool is that they're taking the appliances that they have and making everything smart and connected, but they're now using Yummly's platform to give consumers recipes in their kitchen in real time. So you can see here on the tablet, it has a visual search technology where you can pick up the tablet and actually scan, and it'll show you all the different products that you have on your countertop, giving you ingredients, and then you'll be able to find recipes in Yummly's app, ultimately giving consumers that more streamlined experience in their kitchen. They don't have to search for something on Pinterest, they don't have to search for something on Google. They can just use the visual search tech in Yummly's app, ultimately giving them a very quick, easy experience in their homes while they're making dinner every night. All right, closing it out here for CES 2018 at the Tech West floor. We saw so much innovation and emerging technology across the show floor today. Visual search, voice technology, hyper-personalization, all of those themes were prevalent here in every single startup and established brand that we saw. And it's really interesting and really inspiring to think about what the future of media will be with all of these themes, hyper-personalization, voice search, etc., knowing that the media landscape is going to change so much even in the next year. So we're really excited to see what this means for innovation and everything that we're doing at Mindshare. Thank you so much for joining today.